The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone. We'll be starting at 10 o'clock, so a few more minutes. We're going to let people start rolling in. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our webinar on our new 2.0 version that's going to be coming out. Couple housekeeping rules. We'll take questions at the end of the webinar, so save those for the end, and we'll be fielding all the questions and everything. We do have an announcement, though. We're not going to be releasing 2.0 tomorrow like planned. We ran into some additional work that needs to be done during the beta testing last week, and so we don't want to push it out prematurely, especially with the holidays and everything like that. So our new release date is going to be January 11th, and we're going to start rolling it out, and it takes a little longer to roll this out than a normal update because it's so large. So we're going to be rolling people out off hours because it takes about 20 to 30 minutes to roll each environment out. And we don't want to take anybody down during business hours. So we're going to do it after hours and over the weekends. So it'll be about a week process from the 11th to rolling everything out. That being said, though, we'll get into the webinar, and like I said, save all questions for the end, and we'll be more than happy to answer any of those. So we're going to start in the settings and configuration setup. So the whole concept of the new software is a format called X-editable, which means that you can just click on things to edit them. You don't have to open a whole nother window or anything like that. Makes it quick and easy to do that. So you can just click on anything and edit, then you'll hit the checkbox to save it, X to X out, or you can just click off of it to X out of that. So I'll be highlighting mainly the main changes that have been and enhancements that we've done throughout the software. So on the configuration page, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can just, again, fill out all your information or edit it if you want to. We did add a color palette because this has been came up for a lot of requests. So presets for the color palettes for across the software, so you can click on the little paintbrush there and add color palette. So you can just click add. It comes over as black as default. You can hit the arrow down. It'll bring that whole search piece, the color picker up. You can then select from the color picker of what color you want it to be. And when you have the color you want, you can just hit choose. And now that's a preset that's been added to your presets for colors on that. So when you're going to select something or change something, your presets will come up right here. And there's that one I just added. So, you can give color palettes to that. On the statuses, by request, we have made these editable now. So you can click on them and change the names to whatever you want. So they are editable to do that. You are limited to this number of fields, though. You can edit the color that you want to go with it over here. So again, here's your color picker. Here's another paintbrush to add presets, but you can change the colors right by just clicking on the arrow down for that. Over here's your API keys that you'd put in if you're using any of our integrations. Your hours are still down here. Those are pretty much the same for all that. Going into employees. So down below in employees, we've made some changes here. So you can filter your active and inactive employees. Again, we have some editable features that you can just click on to change the classification. If they're active or inactive, you can do that right from here. To go into to add, so on all the pages, you'll now see this cog over here in the upper right-hand corner. And you click on that, that's going to bring up where you add things or edit layouts and all that kind of stuff for pages. And also, we made it kind of uniform across the software now that you can either print this page, save it as a PDF, export it to Excel, to a CSV, or you can copy it to your clipboard. So if you want to email a copy of it, you can do that, or whatever you want. So you'll see that pretty much across the entire software now. We did add security templates by request. So this is one of our enhancements we did with V2. So on a security template, you can create those. So you can add a new template, give it a title, and save it. And then you can go and click on it. And over here, because if you remember all the settings that we have, because we made the software very customizable for everybody to select the permissions that everybody has. But now you can just create a template so you don't have to do it anymore. So for this template, you can select what they do and don't have access to in the software. So when you're setting up an employee, you can just grab the template and it'll do that automatically. So you can go through everything, select what you want and don't want throughout the software, and set up your template for that person or for that type of person, so you don't have to go through that. And I'll show you what that looks like inside the employee itself. Layouts, you can edit your layouts here. So we made a lot of pages with layouts that are editable. So you can drag and drop the order you want the fields to appear. You can turn them on or off by clicking the eye. When they're off, they'll be tan. When they're on, they're blue. And then you just X out and it'll do the change, as you saw the phone number. And the email got swapped around right there, made those changes. When you go into a person or employee, you'll see all their settings right here. You can edit, again, everything. So everything's clickable to edit. So if you're typing in the city, you could do so and just hit save, and it saves it there automatically for you. This is where you can click if they have proposal or CRM licenses or not. Their phone number and email, their color code is up here of how you want their color code. Here's that security settings. So if you click on the security settings and you want to grab one from maybe that Office Manager template I just did. So now it just preset all the security settings to what I set those up to be. And you still have the option that if you just want to manually, go in and check things, you can do so. And it'll take it out of that template mode. Another really big enhancement that we did is from requests is our notification system. So we have a full notification system now in the software that you can customize. First cool thing is you can edit the email that you want your notifications to go to for that individual employee. So it doesn't have to be the default email that you set them up with. It could be a different one. And the reason for that, so if you click this I for information, you can do email to SMS. So I know a lot of people like to receive kind of text messages instead of emails. So you can do the email to SMS. So all the major carriers down here kind of have a format of how that works. For Verizon, for instance, it's your phone number at vtext.com. And basically what it does, it just emails those notifications to and it'll appear to the end user as a text. So that's a kind of a neat feature to have. So you have that option of what you want, how you want to receive your notifications. Then we've really customized it. We gave you all notifications for all the areas of the software. So from the CRM document library, integrations, invoices, products, projects, proposals, purchase orders, scheduling, service, the ProjX360 setting notifications, tasks, time tracking, and work orders. Like for instance, if you clicked on, let me go to work orders, has a few in there. For work orders, you can, select here's all the different things you can receive notifications for, like when a new work order is created, the status is changed, if there's a line item note, if there's just a note in there, if there's a line item upload, work order line items are changed or any kind of change. And then what the notifications you get to choose from are these. So you can set it so that you don't get any notification if you don't want one. You can set it up for software only, where it just goes into the alert section of the software. You can do it for email only, where it does the email notification, or you can set it for both, where it's software and email. So again, a lot of fluctuation on what you get notifications for throughout the software. So that's been a big request from a lot of people. So we are giving it to you in V2. Also in the employees, we give you 3 buttons down here: tasks, Doug's teams, and Doug's projects. So this employees, all their tasks. So you can click on it and it shows all their tasks. You can also click on it to see all the teams they're related to or set up with, and all the projects they're tied to. So just another filtering piece that we added into V2 here. Going down into phases, not much change here. I mean, just made it X editable, but this is where you set up your phases. Same thing with tax settings. You'll set up your tax settings. You got your cog in the corner to add new tax or edit the layout. But just you can click on anything to change the rate with that. Teams are pretty much the same too, so you can edit teams right here or add new teams for your scheduling. A new one we added though are trades. So now you can set up trades in here, which this is going to be correlated to what you'll see in when you're creating a project now. Again, by request, it's creating basically templates for projects too when you're setting them up. So you can add all your trades in here. Again, you can edit by clicking on anything. There's a delete button over in the corner, but we have a trade storage now on that. Going up into dashboards. Dashboards really haven't changed. So the dashboards are pretty much the same as they were. Going to the CRM in the deals, when you go to open deals, you can filter by your salespeople still up here. A nice change we made though. So before, if you remember, when you did click on like a deal, it kind of lost where it was in the background. It doesn't do that anymore. So if I want to go into this Craig Sennett, I can click on it and it opens the deal and gives me all the deal information right here. But when I X out of it, I'm still on my filtered search that I did for open deals by Brian Moffitt. And again, a lot of X editable features on here. So that was a nice big enhancement that we did too. Companies, same concept. You can do that. And people. So big thing on a person too, when you're adding a new person, an enhancement we added. So when you're adding a new person and you go to add a company inside here, before you just could do the company name and then you had to go into it to set it up. Not anymore. We give you the full setup of the company right here as you're adding the contact for that company. So again, to streamline the process for you and make things a little easier. When you do go into a person, looks similar to everything before. So you can see all your deals over here. Your associated records are over here as time goes on. You can click onto a deal and go into a deal. So all this stuff is pretty much the same as it was before. In the settings of the CRM, We gave you made things X-editable to, again, make it easier for you to make edits or changes. So, you can do changes on a fly pretty easily on here on the settings. Going into proposals. So proposals, we've made a lot of changes and are still adding on changes. So V2 is rolling out, like I mentioned, January 11th. And then for the next 30 to 60 days after that, or 30 to 45 days, I should say, we're going to be adding even more enhancements to the proposal piece than we already did. But I'm going to show you some now of things that we've added here. So again, you're on the proposal dashboard. Things are X-editable to make the changes of the statuses. When you go into a proposal or when you're setting up a proposal, we kind of streamline this for you too. So now we got a lot of information just on one page here instead of having to kind of click through steps. So you can, edit the client name, you can edit the project name, you can select who the designer is, the address and phone number. You can select your pricing rule from here, from your pricing rules that you've set up. And how do you apply that? Your sales tax, your scope of work, your contract, all that stuff can be done from this one page. Then you can click on locations. This is pretty much the same. It's still, drag and drop over just like it was before to add locations. And then you can drag and drop the order they appear to the customer. On systems, same way, but we added an enhancement on systems that you can drag and drop the order you want them in. So that's how it appears when you print out the final proposal to the customer. So again, an ordering feature to customize the ordering more for you that you've been all requesting. When you go into the proposal builder, we made quite a few changes here. So we got rid of that drag and drop section where you had to drag and drop product into, and just made it so you can actually bring product into a location by just dragging it over that. So if I went into Crestron, for instance, and wanted to grab the XM and FM, see how it expands everything, and you can see your locations you have or your systems you have set up. You can then just drop it into the system that you want, and it's there. You can click on the bar to expand anything right now, so you can expand it and see your product and everything that's in there. When there's accessories or anything like that, you can click the plus symbol to expand and see the accessories right here now instead of it opening in another window. Again, makes it easy to make edits or changes because everything is X-editable to change that. So if you do need to change the system or whatever, you can do so by clicking on it right there. We also made it so you can drag and drop the order of equipment in, so you can organize your equipment the way you want to. So that's another big enhancement we've added in V2 is your capability of dragging and dropping the equipment. Also, even on packages, when you're adding a package over, you can expand a package now and see it right here without having to click and go into it for that. So that's a nice feature. When you go into a product now, we gave you some editing capabilities in the previous version, but it was limited of how much editing you could do to a product inside of a proposal. We gave you the full capability now in V2. So in V2, you can completely edit and update the master database right from the proposal. So again, when you're doing any, you're on the general details page, you can edit anything or add anything right from here. You can click on pricing. We added also that you can set up your default supplier. So you can select, see all the people that you have all your suppliers you can get it from, but you can check the box for what your default one is. And it has your cost and your SKU for that default supplier. And again, all this is editable that you can, click on it and edit it or anything like that. For labor, you can add labor phases right here. So if you weren't didn't have a labor phase added yet, you can just do that and click on the empty, grab the labor phase that you want, save it, and you can put in the hours then of how many hours you want and calculate it. And then another feature we added is we're showing you your installed price or your installation cost and what you're charging for this product right here. And again, another feature that's going to be coming out shortly after V2 is we have the backend written already for it that you'll be able to add multiple labor phases here to a product. So that'll be out shortly after V2 because that's another piece I know people have been requesting. You have your notes and attachments. This is not for the end user. This is for your text. So any notes or attachments that you put in here on a product, where that'll come into play is if you're bringing in this product from like a proposal into a work order, it can bring over the notes and attachments associated with it. And then also now inside of a proposal, you can add accessories from both portal or from the local database and add them right here. So if you needed to add some accessories to a product, you can do so right inside the proposal. So a lot of cool features with that, with being able to edit product inside of a proposal. When you go to generate your proposal, we've added some enhancements to that. So we have this view only. So you have a choice between view only and generate revision. Before, when you previewed it, it automatically clicked a revision. So we and people were frustrated with that, and we understood it. So we have a preview only. That's the view only. So when you're building your proposal and going and checking it, keep it in view only. Then when you're ready to finally, generate your revision for your customer, change it to generate revision, and you'll track your revisions that way. This is all pretty similar. You can still filter by, category, location, manufacturer, system. But in our advanced features, we've added a bunch. So we have an installed price now that we've added. We have totals by group, by locations, so by sections basically. So if you're filtering by locations, you can break out labor tax, you can break out product tax, you can break out group tax. You can show, group discount or surcharge for that location. Or whatever you're filtering by. So we added a lot of those kind of things to the advanced displays. And then this is all the same. You still have your filtering by system, your custom color template that you can set up your product image, and then you can download the proposal or email like before, and it creates the proposal for you just like before. And like if I had installed price, it'll say installed right here, and then you'll have your installed total by location. So I know that was a big feature for people to have on that. Going on then into purchase orders. Purchase orders didn't change too much, really. They're pretty much the same as they were because some of the newer parts were built in the X editable format, so we didn't have to do too many changes for it. So you can still filter by your proposals, by the status, click on any one of them and go into the PO section, which bring where you can order and create your purchase orders. Well, let's go into projects where there's a bunch of changes on projects. So like I mentioned, your statuses are all editable, as you can see. Remember how I changed that one to next week? It shows up here now, so that's all, you can customize what these say. You have, where you can create a new project and edit your layout. Again, for this area, for this, when you go into, when you add a new project, we really streamlined this. So to add a new project, we made it quick and easy. So you're going to give it a project name. and whatever you want to call it. Again, naming is key to make it unique for your search feature. You can put in the project address and stuff, but it's not required. The only thing that's required is you got to choose the client of who you want it to be. You got to choose the designer and the project manager, and that's it. We have a more button right here where you can see more. You can put more information in here if you want, but it's not required. Then you'll just hit the checkbox, and then it just takes you to this next screen where here's where you can create choose from one of your templates that you can create, and I'll show you where you create those. So these are the templates that you'll create to how what forms you want, and all that kind of stuff down here in your project, your trades and everything that you want to attach to it. So you don't have to enter all that stuff over and over again. You'll select your time tracking phases right here. We do require one time tracking phase, or you have to check this box that you don't want to time track against that. So you'd select your phases. You can put in your budgets if you have budgets. They're not required. And then as you add the phases, they are listed down here below so you can see them, what you all have, and you can see the budgets that you did and all that kind of good stuff. And then, like I said, you can select, what checklist you want with this project, what forms you want with this project, and that's it. And now you created the project, and you can just X out of it and or go right into it. We enhanced our search feature, so if you go into green, to start typing on that and hit enter, you can see all the ones related. Here's the project I just created, but then you can even filter it more by project or by work order or whatever you want. But you can click on this then, and it takes you into the project details page. But I'm going to go into one that has a little more data. This is the one I just created. So I'm going to go back into projects, and I'm going to go into one that has a little more data to show you this in it. So we added a bunch of things here. So this is the project details page. So as you can see, it's completely different. And you can decide how you want to filter this. So if you go over to the cog in the right-hand corner, you can click on it and edit layout. So you can choose the order the fields appear. So you can drag and drop the order you want them to appear in. You can turn things off if you don't want to see it all. And that will then update this. So this will be the order you see your dashboard for a project. So we made that customizable for you on the layout of how you want that. Everything's pretty similar. You got your map still. You can click on the overview. You can click on the calendar and see what's, where this is all scheduled. This will get you to your custom forms and everything for this project by clicking on the forms button. You can see any tasks or discussions that are related here, some additional information. And again, everything's X-editable to edit it right here on the fly. You got your work orders, and you can still filter by project and service. These are all clickable to go into the detail, just like they were before. You have your time tracking. Checklists changed a little bit. You can just click on it to expand it, so it doesn't necessarily open another window like it did before. And then you can see what's the checkboxes that are highlighted green for the things that are completed, and you can see who completed it and when. And they can just check things off as they do complete it, and it does a live update automatically for them. And then we have the power button to turn line items off that don't apply maybe to this particular project for that. You got your documents down here, and invoices and all that kind of good stuff right there. So all of that's pretty much the same layout, but the layout's completely different. So then we have our project categories where you can set up your categories for filtering. Again, you can click on them to edit, click on the cog to add a new category, manage checklists. Kind of the same thing. You can click on any one of them to edit, add a new checklist with the cog in the corner, custom forms. And then here's that project template setup. So this is where you're going to create your different templates you want to set up for projects. So you'll go over and click the cog here and add new project templates. It'll bring it down here. You'll give it a name. This will click on it. So whatever you want to call this, maybe it's a home theater project. Hit add. You can give it a description if you want. And then you can go into here. So you can go under manage trades. So to list all your trades that you have here, you'll select the trades that apply to this project and then X out of it. You'll go to your checklists and select the checklists that apply to this project. Oops, I clicked on the wrong one there. And click on the checklists that apply. And then you'll click on the go into the manage forms and select the forms that apply to here. And you'll go into custom forms. These are ones that you've created. And then we also have the phases. So you can select the phases that apply. And X out of it. And then to see the status on any of these, all you have to do is just click on it, and it shows you what you've selected. So you can go through and click on any one of those and see what's that template, how that template's laid out, if you ever need to reference it to see what that template's laid out. So you can create as many of those templates as you'd like to streamline your build of your project even more so. So again, as you can see, we really streamlined the creation of a project to make it easier for you. And faster. So going into invoices then. Invoices was a newer section also in the software already. So it's kind of set up in the new format. So there's not a lot of changes here. It pretty much works the same way as they did because they were all X-editable before. Another big change was tasks. So going into tasks, our task page is completely different. And you can now filter by open, completed, coming due, and overdue. So we added those filters also. You have over here, you can edit your layout, add a new task. But you can go into a task at any time you want and see the status of it. You can see any comments that have been made. You can see a task log, so when things are done, so you got a history for that. And you can see the little notifications here. So the red means it's overdue, and if the coming dues are yellow. And how we set up the coming due, it's coming due within 7 days. So we had to give some kind of trigger to it, so we decided to give 7 days as a trigger to it. And that's where that'll be come into play when it goes into that right there. Going into work orders, again, this was a newer piece already of the software, so this has pretty much stayed the same. Functions the same. We have all the same filtering by not scheduled, scheduled, in progress, completed, invoice, canceled, or archived. Just click on it to go into the work order. And as you can see, these all look pretty much the same because, again, these were built in the newer platform already. One thing we did change, though, in work orders is we put the filtering for the work orders by project and service and client all underneath here. So if you just want to see all the project work orders, you can just click on that. And it pre-filters all the work orders for this dashboard to project right here for you. So, again, to make your life a little easier and so forth. Scheduling. Scheduling is pretty much the same because, again, this was a newer piece that we did, so we didn't really do many changes on that. On the time tracking, it's pretty similar. Couple changes, though. I mean, we gave some more filtering capability. You can select the project and let me grab one with a phase here. And then you can hit the start time, and now you're tracking time against the project in the phase. We still have the currently clocked in view, where you can see a list of all your guys, the project they're on, the phase they're on, the date and time they clocked in, and a live running clock. A change we did make under my time card. So before, if the guys were working an overnight job, they couldn't go in and change the date from one day to another. There was a bug in there. We fixed that, so you can actually do that now. So if they go from one day to the next, we can do that manually if they forgot to clock in or something like that, if you need to go edit it. And we also gave you that editing feature that I just clicked on from their time card. So by that individual's time card, we gave you an edit feature right there to edit that time. Again, to make things a little easier for you. For service, you can filter service projects, service work orders, time tracking. This is pretty similar to, again, just clickable to go in and see what's completed and what's not. In the product manager, I covered a lot of this already in the proposal, but we did make a lot of changes here in the product manager. So we do have the mass edit. We did add a mass edit. So you can add product. You can do your portal search. So I'm going to click on the portal search. So we did make a little bit of change to that. So if you're looking for something from portal, so you type in the Crestron, you don't know anything else, it'll bring back, just like before, the results. We changed the way the result comes back a little bit. So instead of clicking on this and it pops up another window, it just expands. So you can actually see the information right here. But the other thing it tells you is if it's already been downloaded, it just says go to local product in the database. And if it wasn't downloaded, let me see if I can find one here that we might not have. It'll say save to a product manager. So again, and you can save and edit it and all that kind of good stuff there. But by request, we added a mass editor. So let me just kind of do a filter here. So say we were looking for all the Atlona stuff. I go to the mass editor. We can mass edit. Here's your choices, brand, MSRP, cost, phase, category, a ton of different things. So if I wanted to change the brands and change it to, actually, let me go and select first. I apologize for that. So let me go and select. So we have a couple ways you can select the product. So you can select individual lines by, don't click on the description or anything. Click off to the side here in the blank space of it, and it'll highlight. And then you'll go over here and you can select the edit you want to do. And if I want to change it to Atlona 2 for those items I selected, I can do that. And it now changed it to Atlona 2, and I'll show you. Because if I do the search and add the 2 there, here's all the ones that I added with the 2. So it mass edited all those. Another way you can do it is you can go to select all visible right here, and it'll highlight all those, and then go and edit what you want, and it'll edit it automatically for you. As you see, it went away because I got the 2 as a filter, but now everything's back into Atlona for that. You can edit your settings here and your layout. And with layout, we added short description and long description and part number that you can display if you want to in there, and all that's editable, so you can just edit it on the fly if you need to. I kind of took you into a product already when we were in the proposal, but like I said, you can go here. One thing I didn't touch base on were tags. So you can type in tags for adding for your search feature. So you can search, like video switcher, and now this would come up and everything like that for your product. So you can add as many different tags as you want to a product item here if you want to do that. And like I said, everything else is the same. You know, I walked you through the pricing and the labor and the custom fields and accessories and all that kind of stuff already. And then our reporting feature that we just released, you know, so we still have our custom reporting, so you can do a custom report builder here. And this works pretty much the same, so you can select a type of report you want to do, you know, what fields you want in there for this report. And then you can, you know, decide, you know, how you want to filter it. So maybe it's by all sales guys and by, I want to see all the open, you know, statuses, the open pipeline basically for them. And then you can generate your report and it's generated down here. And again, you can print it, export it to a PDF, to Excel, the CSV, or copy and paste it. And the chart builder is kind of the same. And you can save it too. So you got the save feature to save that report. So you don't have to build it over and over again. And your chart builder is still here where you can build any kind of chart you want, you know, put in your filters and draw the chart. And now you have a chart and you can save these too. And that kind of, you know, that pretty much sums up V2. So I'm going to open it up to Jason and questions. So Jason, our senior developer, will be fielding the questions. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Jason.
All right. So first question was, when editing a product in the proposal, are you able to edit it in a way that does not edit the master product? So pretty much whenever you're editing a product within a proposal, you're editing that product line specifically. You can update the master if you like, but by default, it's just that product line.
Yeah, well, we have an option in there that you can save to master if you want to save that edit, or if not, you'll be saving it just to the proposal itself.
It said, can you review the trade section?
Review the trade section?
Yeah, it's in the last. You reviewed the trade section in the last screen, so I don't know what part of the software you were in when that was sent. We kind of need the context of that as well. But
you talking about the
basic trades? I don't know if we were in the proposal at that point or not. Maybe Eric, you can re-ask the question.
Is it this page? So it's under settings and trades, and this is where you can add trades. So you can add a trade if you want to.
And all of your existing trades that are attached to this product, to your projects on the migration will be brought into this. I strongly suggest that you go in and edit them, because there's going to be, what we found looking at some of the databases is there's a lot of missing data. So, you know, we've added obviously some additional information that you can add with trades. So go in and manage those trades, get them all set up and cleaned up really nice. And then that way, moving forward, all your projects will be nice and clean when it comes to trades. Somebody asked, when changing a project layout, does it change it only for that project or all projects? It changes it for all projects. Do the checklists in the project view also timestamp or only date stamp? They currently only date stamp.
Yeah, the time stamping with the date is in the work order itself. The custom checklists are just a date stamp, not an actual time.
Somebody asked, where does the discussion section within a project pull data from? Each project has its own discussion section. So, you know, discussions are specific to the project. And then, you know, how do users start a discussion for a project? Again, you just hit the plus. It creates a new line. They kind of go through that. The functionality of that hasn't really changed from our old software. So
yeah, so as you can see, I'm in the project details page right here under discussions. I just hit the plus symbol here. This is where I could create the discussion, and then I can select who I want to partake in that discussion. So this is all pretty similar to what it was before. The UI just looks a little different.
And then he followed up with that. In the discussion, is there, you know, a way that it'll follow up? You probably want to use a task at that point. So if you want to set a due date on it and a responsible person, use a task. And then that way you can review and see that tasks are coming up, overdue, things like that. Somebody said that they're new to this tool, their first time seeing it. What's the most common customer base, and who is using this? Kind of more about what the product is for.
The product's for the custom and electronics industry. For custom integrators, it's designed for. That's who's using it, both residential and commercial. I've been in the industry myself for 25 years, and I own a custom integration company myself, still to this day. That's in the CE Pro 100. So that's who it's for, and that's who uses it. Any other questions, Jason?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just going through them here. Yeah, so somebody asked were the trades selectable in the project setup. Yeah, I noticed that. He actually skipped through that. It's a drop-down list, much like when you're doing the template. You just select them, and they get added to the project immediately.
Jason's going through the questions. So.
All right, yeah, going through the questions. Rod, you've asked a few questions about deleting projects and customers. Right now, we're not allowing deletes. When you delete data, it's going to separate a lot of time tracking. It's going to separate product. There's a lot of ramifications with deleting. So it is something we're looking to add in the future. Right now, you can delete a product. So we're starting to add those features, but it is not part of this release, no. And so Dustin, yeah, so trades are different now. You'll just select the trades. So you'll set them up the one time like he showed in the settings so that if you always deal with a specific HVAC guy or electrician, set up his company information. And then when you go to a project and set it up, you'll just select that guy instead of having to type it all in every time. So it's, shortcut for that, as well as if you set them up in a template, when you change to that template, when you're in a project, it'll just preset all your checklists, forms, trades, and phases for you. Somebody asked, how do we set a color palette to the calendar for specific technicians and their teams? So for technicians, you go into the user, you actually can change their color on the user.
So when you go into them, right here is where you set up your user templates, and your presets are right here. And then when you're creating a calendar event, I'm not sure if we have it in yet, but if we don't, when you add a calendar event, you'll have a choice to pick from your preset, which we do have. So you can pick your presets right here when you're scheduling a calendar event.
And Rod, you asked the question, will you be adding a dedicated employee timesheet, such as a virtual punch clock? I guess I'm not fully understanding that question.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. So in my own company, we use this as their timesheets. So keep in mind, you can, run a report under reporting for time tracking, and create a report to see what their, time was for the week or for the day or a couple days, whatever you want. So that is their time clock. And for what you do for unbillable time is you'll have a project you create for your own company. And then under your company project, you'll create time tracking phases such as, warehouse, meetings, training, and that's what they clock into. And that's what I do for my own guys. And that's their time clock. So there is no need for any kind of timesheet.
And Dustin asked, how long before we can provide a proposal that is sorted by system location?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, so Dustin, that's coming out with this too. So like I showed you in the proposal section, you can sort by system and by product. So when you go into a proposal, so the systems is right here. So when you're setting up the systems, you'll drag and drop the order you want them in, and that's the order they'll filter underneath. If the system, if it was like location, and then the the system underneath that, and that's all filters, is like this order. And then inside the system itself, when you go into the proposal, go in here, you can then drag and drop the order of equipment inside that system to order that.
And then in the document generation is where you can select, when you select your report by type, you can select either location, system, category, manufacturer. Coming out shortly after, like you said, the enhancements to that, we're going to add a secondary sort. So you'll be able to essentially sort again by those same things. So if you sorted by system, you could then say, then sort by manufacturer within that system.
Yeah, like I mentioned, there's a bunch of even more, and we've added a lot of proposal enhancements to the V2, but for the next 30 to 45 days after that, we're working on even more enhancements. We just didn't want to prolong the release of V2 anymore than we are, because we want to get it out to you guys.
John asked about automation in the future, like when a stage change is made, will it send an email? Yeah, that's what the notification systems are. So in the notifications, there's pretty much settings for almost everything imaginable right now. We'll be adding more as we discover needs. But so in that case, if you were saying, okay, well, I wanted to see when, like in the CRM notifications, that when you bring those up, when a deal is changed, if it's added, when a status is changed. So you can pick if you want to get it either in the software, the email, or both. So yeah, that's what those are for. Just to follow up on that, Dustin, you asked, so can I have a proposal that has lighting control, and then under that you would have the rooms? Yes. So you would build the proposal by system, and secondary sort would be location.
Which that is coming out after, though. That's not, that secondary sort will be out within the next 30 to 45 days after V2. That's not actually in V2. Any other questions, or are there any more questions, Jason?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just going through here. Somebody asked, how do you duplicate a proposal? At this time, you cannot.
So again, cloning proposals are coming shortly after the first release of V2.
And then Dustin asked about the notifications. Yeah, if you look at the top of the screen, you can close that mobile, Doug. There's the bell in the normal location where it is, so that will show their notifications across the system. And then again, if they chose email or had it sent as text to their phones, then they would get those as well. Rod, you had a couple questions that are not really related to the new V2 version. If you wanted to go ahead and give us a call or send an email, we can kind of go through those. No, you're not able to copy and paste products in a proposal. You've got to drag them in.
And you can clone product, though. So if you want to clone something, we have a cloning feature. So if you're in let me just get into the proposal build here. If I want to clone something, I can go over and choose to clone it, and then I can select the location I want to clone it to and the system I want to clone it, and I can select multiple locations too, and then just hit add, and now that got cloned over to those locations.
Are there any other questions?
Is that it for the questions?
Right now, yeah, that's it for the questions.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for taking your time out of your busy schedule. We know you're busy. We're looking forward to getting this out to you again. The release of this will start on January 11th. Sorry for the delay, but again, with the holidays and everything, we don't want to premature release it. And we're excited to get it out to you also. So we're doing our best and working our hardest to, get it all ready and get it all out to you. So we're planning on the rollout over January 11th, and it'll probably be a week rollout for that kind of thing. But thank you for your time, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their day. Bye-bye.